Oh, this is not going to end well. I have a bad feeling. Can you see it? 29.5. Dude, this is not good. So, you're walking along, having a great day, the sun's out, planting plants, getting the yard ready, and then somebody comes by and just kicks you in the nuts. That's kind of what I feel like. Hey guys, so we had this freeze move in. Oh, late season freeze. We actually got down to, I talked about the difference between 32 and 33 degrees. Well, we got down to 28 degrees. So fortunately, we haven't done a whole bunch of planting, but we did plant some stuff out in the vegetable garden. We tarped it, we put buckets, but most of the vegetable garden, gone. So thank God I have backup in the shed. I have seedlings growing, so I'll show you that real quick. But today I'll do a couple things. I want to talk about this variation in the weather and how it's going to impact your lawn and what you should do, if anything, for your treatments. And I'll show you kind of a high-end pH tester. I don't know, not many people would buy it, but I figured I'd order it and show it to you because a lot of people, I stress how important pH is in your soils. And then I'll mix up, I'm going to spray the green real quick with a supplement treatment. I'll do that, and that's about it. What I'm doing is I'm getting ready to shoot a leveling video, and that takes a long time because I'm going to show you a bunch of information. Click that subscribe button. And a lot of the stuff, of course, I cover is in the Bermuda Lawn Guide. Make sure you get the Bermuda Lawn Guide. So let's get going. You're so little. So one thing that you have to understand is that when you're little, like Linda, when you're little, when you're short to the ground, the soil temperature, heat rises, is going to protect you during these freezes. So that's really important to understand. So if you have short grass, just like this, or a putting green, or a short Bermuda, tight lawn, it generally won't be affected or impacted by the freeze. Now, if you have taller grass, it's up in the air and exposed, and it can actually get some burn on it. But that should not, what's she choking about? Pollen. But that should not throw you off your schedule. You do not alter your schedule just because you had a couple days of cold move in. Don't worry about it. Just stay on that same schedule. Right now, we are putting down PGF Complete and Humichar. I'm also going to be doing a video about how to adjust your phosphorus levels. I'm waiting for my soil test to come back from Clemson because I think I'm a little bit low on phosphorus, and I'll show you guys how you can easily bump up your phosphorus levels without impacting your normal schedule too. So you want to watch that one. Okay, so this video could probably be about 4 hours long, and I'm going to run around real quickly and summarize. So here's the thing about a freeze versus just cool weather. The water inside of plant cells will freeze. The ice crystals will penetrate the cells, and that kills the leaf. So you can see when you have an actual freeze, see how these are all droopy and dark? So these young leaves are pretty much gonzo. Surprisingly, my sunflowers, they must have some kind of resistance because they're going to survive. All these kind of plants that are, early spring, late winter bulbs and stuff, they do fine. Well, let's go over and look at our poor tomato plants. We didn't do a whole bunch. We started, but the sad thing is these things, I started them from seeds, and you can see whenever you have that killer frost, what happens is the leaves turn almost a dark and a little bit, sometimes purple, and they feel just rubbery. There's no life to them. So that plant is pretty much gone. Same thing you can see here. We did have canvas tarps over them, but you can see here, it's just, man, it's just not. Everything, even the marigolds, look at these marigolds. See what happened to them? They just feel rubbery. That's okay, because I have backup seedlings in the shed, thank goodness. Plus we'll be doing some other stuff. So we just got some stuff planted early for you just so we could shoot some videos. Now one of my last videos I planted hydrangeas, and we had buckets from the warehouse. So we covered all these up with 5-gallon buckets, and they actually did very well. No problems. Now my putting green, we did a seeding 10 days ago and it germinated. Anything that's close to the ground, The soil temperature will keep your grasses warm if it's close to the ground, so you don't have to worry about it. If you have anything like a tall grass, you would have to worry about it. Well, first of all, this is the most dramatic plant. So I showed you, let me see if I can find that clip. I'm gonna put up what it looked like. Now, after the frost, you can see what happens. So look at that. Just dead, black, nasty, dead. So I need to come through here and cut these dead leaves off. And hopefully something like this will survive. I don't know, we'll see. Knockout roses. I think my knockout roses are going to be okay. I have a few rubbery leaves on here, but a lot of these leaves are nice and firm still. So let's hope. We still have to come through here and trim them, but this is why, see this right here? This is why I was worried. Because I've got a crap load of rosebuds on here. But some of these leaves are rubbery, and I think these will end up dying, and we might have to come through here. If they do die and turn brown, we're gonna have to come through here and start doing some light trimming. So my freezing weather has finally passed. Temperatures for the next 10 days are gonna be mid 70s to low 80s. Warm. So that means my soil temperature is gonna start to go up. So this morning what I did was, I'm gonna do this on my green only, but I mixed up about a half a gallon. Okay, so let me explain real quick what this supplement spray is. Remember, it's not a fertilizer, this is a supplement spray. And I'll explain exactly what it has inside of it. So this is the spray that we'll be putting out all summertime long. This is for warmer weather because it's a microbial booster. It increases the good fungus and good microbes as well as everything else. So we'll be using these spray bottles. Hopefully they'll be back in stock here within the next week or two. And I'll link to all this below on the page. To make up 2 of these bottles, which is a quart and a quart, so that's a half gallon of warm tap water, I'm going to put, in between a quarter and half cup of the dry super juice. I'm going to put 1 little teaspoon of the microbial recharge, maybe just under a quarter of a cup of liquid iron, and a few tablespoons of the surfactant. And that's what I'll be using for. Now the surfactant is not to have it stick on the plants. The surfactant acts as a quote-unquote liquid aerator. It helps the liquids and everything penetrate the soil so it doesn't run off. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm spraying on the green, and we'll be spraying that all season long once the temperatures hit into the 80s. Got it? Now that's the pack, that's the combination that you will really, this is a supplement. Remember, this is a supplement, warm weather supplement. When your temperatures finally get into the 80s and you have active growth. We also spray this on top of the organic matter, the chicken feed we put out, once the temperatures warm up. But you don't do this supplement until you really are in the 80s. That's when you want to do it for warm season grasses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here and I'm going to spray this. I'm going to spray this green just to show you. It's very, very mild. This isn't a fertilizer. This is a supplement. And I can come out here and spray this. The reason why I'm spraying this is I have a new germination. And so I want to make sure that it's getting all the nutrients that it needs. So I'm going to come out here and do a light spray this morning for the next 3 days, a light treat of a supplement. And you can do it every day, especially when you're seeding. So I did a light spray on here and did a misting spray, and what that'll do is that'll make sure that every single blade of grass is getting some kind of supplement, a little bit of nutrients, micronutrients, a little bit of iron, and that's pretty much what I'll do. And I'll do that today, I'll do it tomorrow morning, and I'll do it the next morning, and then I'll stop. And that really should punch this stuff. Alrighty, so here are the two testers that I use. I'll put links to them in the description below. This is one that's probably affordable enough for the average homeowner. I think it runs about 70 bucks or so. I've had this for going on 3 years, and it's fairly accurate. If you were taking care of other people's lawns, and if you wanted to test their pH, and you want to be really accurate, then you would go with this unit. This is a more high-end unit. You can calibrate it. It's more of a professional level tester. I think this one runs you about 130 bucks delivered. I'll put links to it down below. Again, not for the average home user, but very accurate. And you can calibrate this. They send it with calibration solutions too. Find an area that's not solid rock. And we're going to put this in. We're going to give it a twist. And we'll let it sit for a minute. And the needle always starts off out at the 7 on this one, and then it slowly falls down. And this one is telling me it's right at 6, maybe 5.9 on this. So this is reading 5.9. I'm going to add a little bit of distilled water. Squirt it on me. Now I'm going to take this unit, rinse it, turn it on, we're going to put it in. So this one actually has a little hourglass on it, and when the hourglass goes away, that means your exact reading is correct. So this is saying a 6.6 basically is where I am. That's saying about a 6 or 5.9. These are the 2 meters, and I'll link to them in the description below. I always put this video on its own page, so when you go to, there'll be one link. It'll take you over to a page on our website, and I list everything. PGF Complete, Human Char, anything I'm talking about in the videos will be on that page, so I don't have to put a bunch of darn links down below. This unit I've talked about for probably the past 3 years, and it's pretty accurate and it's easy to use. It basically, you just put it into the ground and it'll have a meter system on it just like this, and the meter will just go over. No batteries or anything. It just uses contact between these two metal elements. You have to keep those clean. I found this to be fairly accurate, probably to within half of a degree. I went and did 3 soil tests today, and that's what I found. This unit is more of a high-end test unit. You have the ability to calibrate this. When you store it, you have to put a storage solution inside this tip. If you want to calibrate it, you can calibrate it, but this is dead on balls accurate, as they say. That unit is extremely accurate. And I have found with pH meters, the more expensive they are, typically the better they are. If you go buy the $20, $30 little prong things like at Home Depot, those things don't worth a darn. Now I will say, over in our gardens where we have a ton of carbon biochar, the carbon in those garden soils for some reason throws this off. And I think it's because maybe it's that the carbon is so, a conductivity, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that it really kind of messes this up in our vegetable gardens, because we have a ton of carbon in there, biochar. But this was able to calculate it no problem. My gardens tested at about a 6.6. My lawn soil was at about a 6.5 everywhere I went. Now I sent off samples to Clemson, and then when I get those back in about a week, I'll also compare their testing to what is on here, and I'll follow up on that too. But again, I'll link to these both. I don't think the average person's going to spend 130 bucks on a pH tester, but if you do a lot of gardening, if you take care of someone's lawns, if you have a lawn care business, this is a real good test to know, because pH can really throw off your lawn care. Man, I'll tell you what, that really threw me for a loop, that cold front coming in. I could have dealt with 34 degrees, but it got down to almost 27 degrees and 2 days in a row. It really set back stuff. But thankfully, it wasn't a real killing frost. Like, it wasn't 20-something degrees overnight. It was just right at sunrise. That's the lowest temperature of the day. So again, don't change your schedule just because you have a cold front coming through. You know, we have 2 or 3 days of cold coming through, and now all of a sudden today it's gorgeous out here. Actually went and changed into shorts. It's warm out here, and it's going to be into the 80s this week, high 70s and 80s for the next 10 days. So we're back on schedule. So just keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, if you haven't gotten a soil test, I really recommend it. I'll be doing something on phosphorus levels. A real cool trick for you guys. If you've got a low phosphorus levels, I'm waiting for my soil test to come back because I have a feeling that my soil, all these soils in the neighborhood typically are a little bit low on phosphorus, and I'll show you how to bump that up during the season. Hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Doc.